Welcome back. We now head to Port Moody, where they are also having challenges around development. Incumbent Mayor Rob Vagromov is not running again. Two councillors are challenging to replace him. One of them is Steve Milani, and he joins me now. Councillor, thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me, Richard.
Why do you want to be the next mayor of Port Moody?
Well, because I love this city and I care about its future. I believe Port Moody is at a crossroads right now, and this next election will cement the city's future for decades to come. I'm a boots on the grounds kind of guy. I'm always out and about, checking out new businesses, talking to residents, hearing what's on people's minds. And I believe residents want a mayor who's in touch with their views and someone who's willing to work hard for them. And what I've heard from residents over the last 4 years is that they don't want to see Port Moody turn into another concrete jungle like Brentwood or Lougheed. They want us to expand our green space and not our concrete coverage. All that additional noise and traffic, it won't add to our residents' quality of life. We need to work towards achieving our 2041 growth target of 50,000 residents without exceeding it. And we're already set to reach about 52,000 residents. So we need to stop focusing on high-priced concrete towers and focus on what residents are asking for, such as housing for families, seniors, and those just starting out. And we need jobs. We need good-paying local jobs. We should be facilitating the building of climate-friendly, human-scale buildings, the type of housing that's better for your mental health, provides more of a connection to the ground. In a nutshell, we've got to put our residents' quality of life first, ahead of development interests. And I would like to provide leadership as mayor to help guide that future growth in a way that protects what we love about our incredible city of the arts.
There are obviously a lot of issues going on in Port Moody. Let's focus now for a bit on development, because I know this is a crucial piece. I know there are differences between where you stand and where Megan Lottie stands on this issue. So let's delve into this. You mentioned these concrete towers. What do you say to those who believe that Port Moody needs more density? They need opportunities for people who have family homes, who may want to move to something a bit smaller. What do you say to them in the community who would like to see this increase in density?
Well, I'm absolutely in favor of developing and in favor of new types of housing, but we really need that missing middle housing. We need those 3-story townhomes for young families. We need one-level housing for seniors, and we need to make it financially feasible for those just starting out to get in. So I'm all in favor of developing. I'm just not in favor of adding another 24 concrete luxury towers in the middle of town when we could be using that space to provide more appropriate housing for our population.
Port Moody has fallen behind where other communities are in Metro Vancouver in terms of building density. There are significant transit hubs within Port Moody. Is there not an opportunity to find some sort of middle, as you mentioned? Maybe we're not talking 60-story high-rises, but to find some sort of increased density at those hubs to ensure that we can move people through the region and find places for people to live and play and all of that.
Well, definitely we can work on that. And I'm not saying no residential density. Actually, where you're talking about around Moody Station, there are 0 residents there now. And so nobody lives there. So anything will be an increase in density. I don't mean to kind of play on that, but it is true. So what we need to do is find that mix. So we need to bring in some residential density, but we have to ensure that the jobs are there and the local shopping is there so that we can have a complete community. We can't just go straight to the residential high-rises. While we might get an initial cash hit on that, it won't help us with financial sustainability in the long run.
How do you focus in on finding the land for other types of building? Clearly, one of the challenges that all communities in Metro Vancouver are facing is that we are running out of land. Port Moody is, stopped by the water, which is part of the lure to the community. But what do you do about finding the land to ensure you maximize the space in a place where so many want to live?
Well, that's a good question, but as you said, we've only got so much land, and Port Moody is is tiny geographically speaking. We're only 10 square miles. So, and right now we actually have more people per square kilometer than Coquitlam does. So for the size of our land, we are quite dense already. And even though we're only at about 35,000 people right now, with everything that's been passed and the projects that are close to being passed, we're set to exceed our 50,000 population target that was agreed upon with Metro Vancouver. We're already set to exceed that at around 52,000. So I think we're doing pretty well as far as accepting our responsibility of housing additional people moving to the region.
Beyond that, beyond development, what other priorities do you have in terms of a deficit that currently exists? What would you prioritize to work on, to add to, the life that those that already live there have?
Well, one of the problems with the money that comes into the city is we have lost a lot of our industrial lands, and that is partially due to the last council in 2014 to 2018 and reclassifying some of it in the official community plan, such as the waterfront Flavel Mill site. So that was a huge hit to us, as was Burrard Thermal. I know that our MLA has been working on finding someone else to go get into Burrard Thermal to hopefully get some of that industrial tax base back into our budget and help with that bottom line. But what we have to do is we have to attract more businesses and hopefully some schools. We have had interest in that. So if we can get some good tenants into Port Moody Centre, I mean, we have SkyTrain, we have the West Coast Express. So instead of using those to ship everybody out of town to go to work, let's try to find a way to use them to bring people in to Port Moody so they have a place to work, to live, work, and recreate.
How do you do that? How do you attract businesses to come to Moody Centre to make that their hub rather than set up shop in Surrey or Vancouver?
Well, we're not Surrey or Vancouver. We're blessed to be at the end of the Burrard Inlet, and it's just a spectacular setting. So we pretty much have all we need to attract those tenants. We have the beautiful surroundings, we have the rapid transit, we have our famous Brewers Row. So I think it's just a matter of making sure that this new updated OCP, when it happens, this will be the new council deciding that with input from the residents, of course, but laying out that groundwork and making it clear of what we expect in that neighborhood will help us attract those tenants and hopefully build the space that we need to accommodate this type of economic growth in the city.
Steve, last one for you. If we're standing here 4 years from now, you've served your term as mayor, what do you hope we're talking about in terms of reflecting back on 4 years as the mayor of Port Moody?
Well, I'd like to see a well-rounded city, a Port Moody that's easier to move around in, both in your car and using active transportation. I'm a huge advocate for active transportation. I'd like to see it walkable, accessible, a Port Moody where you can pick up your daily needs for groceries, like close to your home, a strong local economy where you can walk to work, have a meal, perhaps catch a movie. It'd be nice to have a movie theater in town. A Port Moody that's more affordable, more climate friendly, more inclusive, that looks after the housing needs of families and seniors. Port Moody where we have room to stretch our legs outdoors, unwind, rejuvenate, de-stress. A Port Moody where you can still see the amazing skyline and the trees over the inlet, our amazing sunsets. I'd like to see expanded facilities that keep up with this ever-growing population. And I guess I just like to look back on this term and see residents that are proud of the city they live in and happy that they voted for me as mayor.
Steve, thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Richard.